So today we're going to talk about a topic that's been floating around the internet for what I could say years. And it actually bugged the mess out of me. But I'm going to put it out today because I'm just tired of the misinformation. We're going to talk today about narcissists. People have been putting out, how you know when you're dating a narcissist? And let me tell you something. I haven't seen anything that I believe to be correct in the 2 years. There's a difference between having narcissistic tendencies and being a narcissist. The people who talk about dating a narcissist don't even know what a narcissist is. And the characteristics that they talk about the narcissist having actually disqualify them from being a narcissist. So and before we get into like, well, what makes you right and them what makes you correct and them incorrect? Well, because I'm correct. So no, let me quit. Um, I'm a doctoral candidate in applied clinical psychology, and I have had the experience of working with someone who was diagnosed a narcissist, narcissistic personality disorder, by two other therapists, including myself. So when I'm talking about is not just book knowledge, I'm talking about book knowledge and personal knowledge. And I worked with the person for a year. So I think that qualifies me to be able to speak toward the tendencies of someone who is diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. So first, people who are narcissists, they lack empathy. They lack the ability to actually recognize and identify what people's needs. They're not manipulative, they're exploitive because they feel entitled. They have ideas of reference. They believe everything is about them. They have ideas that they can control everything. They think that they're entitled and everybody owes them. So they speak down to you. So when someone talks about, I dated a narcissist and he was real nice and then he switched it up, no, that wasn't a narcissist. And if we're dealing with clinical terms, you might have been dealing with someone who is borderline or antisocial. And then again, that's a stretch. But most of you are just dealing with assholes. And what you're doing is throwing out these terms. So you can look at the description of narcissistic personality disorder in the DSM, and you're not going to find any of the characteristics that you're talking about. Narcissists have a hard time with relationships. They put it this way. Narcissists have a hard time of understanding the world outside of themselves. That's what we're talking about when we say ideas of reference. They believe everything applies to them. When dealing with the person that I work with that was a narcissist, I did not hear them at any point speak of anybody in their lives that they didn't refer back to themselves in terms of. In other words, they always spoke of other people in terms of themselves. They spoke of other people's needs and desires in terms of how it affected them. So when you're saying you had this person who's a narcissist and this, that, no, if you were dating a narcissist, you would know because you would be totally devalued. You would always be made to feel that you are privileged to be in a relationship with them. They wouldn't understand your feelings. They wouldn't want to listen to your feelings. Not once, not twice, not at all. If you're dealing with someone with narcissistic personality disorder. Now, you can deal with someone with narcissistic tendencies, but that is a difference. And I'm not talking about just a somatic difference. It's a difference between saying somebody is mean and somebody is psychotic. They're degrees. Mean is over here. Psychotic is over here. And the two don't meet. Like psychotic people are mean, but mean people aren't necessarily psychotic. You don't have to be psychotic to be mean. So you can have a narcissistic tendency, but that does not make you a narcissist. And so for everybody who does not have a degree, a master's or a doctorate, quit diagnosing people. Because one of the things that you have to learn when you diagnose is what's called differential diagnosis. So when you deal with narcissistic personality disorder, it's a cluster B. And for those who are not educated in psychology, you don't know what that means. But in other words, when you are diagnosing somebody, you have to rule out other diagnoses with similar symptoms. And you have to be able to differentiate one from the other. And I guarantee you that 99.9% of the people talking about, I was dating a narcissist, or how do you know you're dating a narcissist, can't tell you the difference between borderline, antisocial, narcissistic, or histrionic personality disorders. And they're all cluster Bs, and they all overlap. So you will know you were dating a narcissist if you were dating somebody like Donald Trump. Think about this. Donald Trump has never apologized. Donald Trump has never taken responsibility for anything. Everything that's right, he did. Everything that's wrong, someone else did. He never speaks of people in endearing terms. Think about it. When he was at a rally, he said, look at my African American or my Black. It was one of those. He referred to the person, their ethnicity or their race, with a my in front of it. That's how you know you're dealing with a narcissist. So if you're dealing with somebody who was nice to you and then mean, if you're dealing with someone who showed you a considerate side of themselves and then switched up, you're not dealing with a narcissist, because a narcissist doesn't even do that. A narcissist doesn't feel like they have to do it. See, they're exploitive. They take advantage of you, but they're usually not manipulative because they don't believe they have to. They believe they're entitled and that you should do it just because. So quit saying you dated a narcissist or how you know you're dating a narcissist, because you don't know what you're talking about. Most of you are just dating assholes with narcissistic tendencies, which means they don't have enough symptoms to be diagnosed as a narcissist, but they have some overlapping tendencies. Just like someone who is mean might have some overlapping tendencies of someone who's psychotic, but it doesn't mean they're psychotic. Or as Malcolm X used to say, just because you put kittens in ovens, it doesn't make them biscuits. Just because you have someone with a grandiose attitude does not mean he's a narcissist. It takes a whole lot of other things to make a narcissist, to construct a narcissist. So quit saying it. You don't know what you're talking about. You're dating assholes with delusions of grandeur. And you're dating manipulative assholes who will lie to you and try to get you to do stuff and then try to ingratiate you. If someone ever tried to ingratiate you or make you feel good about yourself or make you feel like you were great, they're not a narcissist. That's not what they do. Again, I've worked with a narcissist and I never heard that person once talk about someone in their life where they did not speak of the privilege of the other person being in their lives, not the other way around. And I worked with him for a year. And don't get me wrong, it was a nice person. As far as what I could see behind. But as far as what they presented, no. You didn't date a narcissist. You're not dating a narcissist. If you don't feel absolutely exploited, you're not dating a narcissist. You're dating an asshole with narcissistic characteristics and tendencies. Just putting you up on game.